What's going on, Reef Builders? I'm Jake Adams and I got my good pal Kevin Kohen. We are here on a Saturday to make some videos for you to enjoy and learn a little bit about reef tanks. What's going on, Kevin?
Nice to have you, Jake.
Thanks
Good to see you.
Thanks for coming back to work on your day off.
Heck yeah, it's always fun.
Yeah, so we're making this a fish day, taking some pictures, taking some videos, and Kevin now has agreed to tell us a little bit about some of the show tanks here at LiveAquaria.
Yeah, it's great.
Very cool. It's always nice when facilities like this have a lot of display tanks and they're not just a factory, right?
For sure. I'm a true hardcore fish hobbyist and coral hobbyist, so I love having display tanks. Especially display tanks that have specific types of animals or specific habitats for the animals that we're trying to keep. The one on the left here is a great example. It's an anemone tank. Really proud of. It's got basically a big grouping of clownfish, and then we've got some nice cultured green bubble tip anemones and some rose anemones as well. Very simplistic aquarium though, very low key aquarium. But I really like it. There's a lot less distraction with different types of corals and so forth. So
it takes a certain amount of dedication to set up a tank just for clownfish and anemones. But it looks awesome. It looks really cool seeing this giant colony of clownfish that you have here. Yeah, there's quite a few green bulb anemones in here, probably about 15 of them. And they've been in trade for quite some time. These guys are actually cultured. Right on. Do you have any of the super fancy bubble tip anemones yet?
We've got a few, but hopefully we'll get a few more here. So rose anemones have been pretty hard to procure. These guys here have been cultured in Florida, so we're lucky enough to get a small batch of those, and hopefully we'll keep splitting in here and kind of produce our own. So.
And what are some tips you have for someone who might want to do a layout like this with clownfish and anemones? What's kind of like the important thing?
Probably the most important thing in this aquarium is flow. I mean, we've got some gyro pumps. They're all alternating flow in here, and then we of course target feed the anemones to keep them super healthy. But again, it's a very simple display, very easy to keep, very low maintenance.
I already know what people are going to ask. How do you keep the anemones from going into the pumps?
That's a great question. I mean, they tend to venture around, especially bulb tips, for a while. But once they find their spot and they're accustomed to the right flow, they rarely move. So we don't really have problems. You got to be careful right when you put them in the tank. This aquarium here used to be in my office. This is a 3-tiered 180 gallon tank. It's got 2 dividers in it, permanent dividers, overflow boxes. But what I wanted to do with this aquarium here is be able to show folks that you can actually mix different types of corals in the same environment. However, each of these habitats have unique corals in them. We'll start with the right here. We've got some large polyp stony corals that are fleshy large polyp stony corals that are require some food and so forth. Pretty lower flow environment. And this section here is illuminated by Ecotech Marine XR15 or 30, I believe. Actually, yeah, XR30 Pro. So G4 Pro.
Right on.
What we try to do in here as well is test different types of equipment that we offer. The center section here is the SPS display, and it's got 2 AI 26s on it. Really great lights. I love AI and Ecotech lights. This last section here is illuminated by Cobalt's LED light, and I really like this light as well. It really is an awesome blend of light with this lower, say, what, 5500K bar in the middle, so it kind of offsets some of that really blue light. So I think out of all 3 of these sections, this is my favorite here. Soft coral displays are always, I think, overlooked by some of the hardcore hobbyists that we have.
So much.
We really can start there, but then we navigate into kind of following trends, whether it's LPS or SPS. But there's nothing better than the movement of soft corals in a display. There's a lot of great different colors and diversities of types of soft corals, and of course my Anapsis femininus male is in here, which is just an amazing fish. I've had him for probably 3.5 years now, and this is the same pair of Venusta Angel that was featured on Reef Builders I don't know how many years ago, probably 5 years ago, Jake?
It's been a while.
Yeah. So really cool display. There's actually a male and female Venusta in this section. The center section here is of course dominated with small polyp stony corals. We've got a really nice blue squamosal clam here, and a really awesome pair of Collins angelfish in the center section here.
Tell me more about the Collins angelfish, because you have those everywhere.
Yeah, so I'm really fascinated by kind of the deeper water species of centropike angelfish. So, you know, Collins venista, multibar. We've got another special fish we'll show you at the very end. But yeah, we really work very, very hard with these fish. They're a little bit more sensitive from an adaptability perspective. So that's why for me personally, it's a great challenge to bring some of these kind of harder to nurture fish into this building and condition them properly and get them to market. So, you know, a lot of folks ask me, what's the most satisfying thing in your job? And actually it's to be able to take fishes and get them in optimum health and then get them to the end consumer where they're super successful with the fish for many, many years. So nothing makes me more happy than that.
Tell me about the decision to use 2 26s versus 1 52, because I have a clue, but I've never seen that actually implemented. Like, how'd you get to that conclusion?
We actually just had 2 26s so it's a little bit easier, but I mean, it does spread the light out a little bit better. And the way they're running front to back, this tank's of course 2 feet deep, so that's where it helps out from the way this is aquascaped and illuminated. Kind of helps the corals depending on where they're placed.
I love your honesty. There's no grand plan. We just had 2 26s sitting around.
Hey, yeah.
But hey, you know what? This is a great example to show people, like, you don't have to get, you know, a single 52. You can get 2 26s and spread them out, you know, a little bit more evenly than just a 52 would.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, especially with deeper aquariums, it makes it a little bit easier when the pucks are running front to back. So this is our video and photo studio. We've got a lot of display aquariums in here so that we can produce content for the LiveAquaria website, for our YouTube, Facebook channel, Instagram channel as well. Very simple tank. This is a flat panel JBJ aquarium. It's dominated with primarily soft corals. Very easy to keep corals. A lot of these corals are what we grow in-house here at LiveAquaria. These are our certified captive grown corals. What you see right there is the Spicularia coral. We've got some basic green star polyp coral. Another type of green star polyp. I've got a Nepthia coral. Just again, really basic stuff, but you know, it's a great functional tank that we can put a lot of livestock in and out, change it out depending on what we're trying to feature for that week or that month. So really cool that we have a bunch of display tanks in this area here. Provides some versatility for us to be able to try to help educate folks about either fish, corals, invertebrates, whatever that may be. So,
you know, so if you didn't see it yesterday, Kevin and I did a live stream and we talked about the health of aquarium and animals. And one of the things we talked about was, you know, things in the peak of health just glow. And so one thing I do love is this Pachyclavularia, this version of the green star polyp, because it's so healthy looking and it's very different from the Briarium right next to it. I was really admiring those two next to each other yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, this spreads out. It really polyps out much longer than the green version there, so it's pretty cool.
And it's got that pretty green mouth, you know, kind of gives it like that spotted appearance.
And that's what I really like about some of these strains of coral is there's so much diversity within the same kind of groupings of corals. It's pretty unique. So.
All right, what do we have here?
So this tank I'm really proud of. This is our 300-gallon deep dimension show tank. Very, very basic aquarium. It's illuminated with 3 metal halide lamps as well as 3 elliptical 20K Canon lights that Ecozotic used to produce. It's got a pretty large sump on the bottom with some filter bags, basic skimmer, calcium reactor, and we administer aqua to this aquarium as well.
Would you describe this as a Berlin-style reef?
Yeah. Super simple setup. We do a lot of water changes on this aquarium. We do a 30-gallon water change every single day. So that's the primary means of nutrient export for this tank. You can see it's heavily dominated with a lot of fishes. We feed a lot of food to this aquarium, so we of course need to export those nutrients out of the tank as well. So, you know, like any SPS aquarium, we've gone through some great times with this tank. We've also encountered some hurdles too. You know, we had our show and fail on this aquarium, and unfortunately it compromised some of the acros in the aquarium. However, you know, we keep keep replenishing the acros back, put more cultured stuff in here. It's cool to see these aquariums ebb and flow over time. You know, again, it's been many years. 2014 was the setup, so pretty happy with how things have turned out. And again, very, very simplistic display.
Tell me about this massive coral right here. There is no rock here, right?
No, this is a bare bottom aquarium.
You guys see this bare bottom aquarium? It's a living section of coral. It's just thick, like just pure calcification on here. Tell us a little bit more about that. That's just insane down there.
So I had a 120-gallon aquarium in my office SPS display like this, and you know, in bare bottom aquariums, I like to keep bodies at the bottom that are they'll sheet across the entire bottom of the aquarium. I just think it makes for a really cool foundation for the acros and the rockwork on top. And it's cool to see a diversity of Montipora all together, you know, just carpeting the entire bottom of the aquarium.
So you're a wrasse man. This tank is filled with wrasses.
Of course.
There's no sand in here.
There's not. So in this aquarium, you can see it's dominated with Cerulibris wrasse and a few Parachyletus wrasse as well. And those types of wrasse don't need sand to burrow in. They just need you know, some rock work where they can rest against it in the evening. So unlike wrasses of the genus Macrophrygida, Anapses, things like that, those need to actually burrow in the sand. So these, I think, Cerulibris are great genus of wrasse for SPS aquariums with super high flow, because they're used to being in high flow or high current environments. And again, they don't need sand to burrow in. So.
And then tell us about these holes you have here. These with a pump with a vortex right behind it.
Yeah, so we tried to create open areas in this display so that we can really change up the current. As everyone knows, it keeps SPS, especially aquapora corals. You know, we really need to provide the right flow rate for these animals. They have no way, since they're motile or sessile invertebrates, or sorry, sessile corals, that they can't move. So we need to bring nutrients to the corals. We need to be able to export those nutrients away from the corals as well. It really helps us, gives us more versatility for some really random flow in this aquarium.
And what pumps do you have on this tank?
As far as the flow pumps, we have Ecotech MP40s and MP60s primarily. There's actually two gyres on the corner, and I don't know if you saw that, Jake, that were in the overflow boxes. And then we've got just a large return pump. Basically turnover in the aquarium is about 8 times per hour. So this is under the hood of this 300-gallon aquarium. As you can see, it's incredibly simple. 2 filter bags. Super Octopus protein skimmer. We actually carbon dose this aquarium. Use the old Aquadoser. This thing's, I don't know how many years old, but it works really, really good for carbon dosing. We use no epox and vinegar mix.
You know, we have new technology now. I think they're called the dosing pumps.
We do. One less mechanical thing to fail, and very easy to clean. And we actually use these all over the coral farm. So basically, we can fill up all of them based on which aquarium they're going to go on, and then just randomly put them on all the displays that we're carbon dosing. So.
And then you have a big float switch?
Big, huge float valve. This is hooked into our open loop system, and it's basically all we do is drain, like I said, 30 gallons of water out of this display a day, and it automatically fills back up, and we walk away. So,
and then
pretty simple.
Tucked behind there, you have a calcium reactor.
We do. So this Super Octopus dual chambered calcium reactor. I like using calcium reactors on larger displays. It just makes things a little bit easier, another less intensive maintenance. On smaller SPS tanks, though, I do like to dose, 2 or 3 parts.
And you're balancing that out with some calc.
We are. We're balancing out Kalkwasser, and we're using a dosing pump for that. So we do have some technology on here. So again, old school. We've got halide lights. We've got all the elliptical cannons.
Can we take a peek?
Yeah. So these are the elliptical cannons here. We've got some radium lights, halide lights, 400 watt. But again, pretty old school lighting. That heavy noise is this generates a lot of heat. This lighting system is just evacuating all the air out of this enclosed canopy here. So we keep it enclosed because wrasse love to jump out of the tank. So our overflow boxes in here are covered up, and then there's back panels as well. So if any wrasse were to try to jump, they're going to bounce right back into the tank. So I think all of us that have kept wrasses or long slender fish have at one point in our careers or in our reef keeping journeys have come in to try to fish in the floral. That's what we don't want to do. So you're in the heart of the LiveAquaria Coral Farm and Aquatic Life facility. In here we've got 9 independent saltwater systems. Independent meaning they have their own filtration and they're separate from one another. We've got our 3 main coral rows here, and there's 8 6-foot raceways, 6 by 3 by 14-inch tall raceways down each of our main coral rows. The filtration room is actually at the other side of the building here. You can see that we're heavily dependent on Ecotech Marine Radion lighting systems. We really love the versatility of Ecotech Radions. We've got Gen 3s, Gen 4s, Gen 4 Pros. So really we've tested a lot of different generations of Radions, but provides some flexibility for us to be able to alter the duration, intensity, and the spectrum of light over the specific types of coral that we're keeping in these raceways. So if you want to point upstairs, a lot of folks don't know this. We have an upstairs or mezzanine part of this facility here, and that's where we actually hold our broodstock and actually propagate the corals that we offer for sale on the LiveAquaria website. So we are certified captive grown corals. That's where all the propagated and grown upstairs. Today I want to take you guys over to show you some of the different systems also. So if you'll see here on the left, we've got our large polyp stony coral and invertebrate system, and it's actually a quarantine system. So what we're doing is we're bringing some animals into this building as well, so that we can offer them in the Divers Den WYSIWYG store on LiveAquaria. But of course, we want to keep these guys separate from our main corals. We want to actually quarantine and condition them as well. So we've got a lot of different types of crustaceans and other invertebrates in here. And then, of course, a lot of our LPS corals are in these systems. You know, we're bringing corals in from Australia and from Tonga as well, and also from folks that are culturing corals around the United States. So we not only grow our own corals, but we also procure corals from other hobbyists and other companies that are doing propagation as well. But we can control the lights again. All of these lighting systems on this system as well are Ecotech Marine. We use some diffusers in here on some of the lights, and there are many different generations of Ecotech. So we've had really great luck with these lights. Very rarely do we have a failure, whether it be power supply or fan. So really happy that we started this system and this building actually with 85 400-watt oil light lamps, and I'm really proud to get away from that and evolve into a little more sustainable lighting systems for reef aquariums. So kind of walk this way, and what we've got over here is our inbound quarantine system for marine fish. So the lights are shut off right now. We should have had those on, but this is a 4,000-gallon marine fish quarantine system. To the left of that, you'll see our freshwater system. So a few years ago, we saw an opportunity, wanted to set up some freshwater displays as well, or freshwater holding systems, so that we could bring in some mid to high range, high-end freshwater fish as well, and offer them for sale in the WYSIWYG store, the Divers Den WYSIWYG store at LiveAquaria also. And we did the exact same thing with all the fish in here. What we want to do is we want to bring fish in and we want to add value to the animals that we sell. So we want them, to display the right behavior, to be accustomed to the prepared foods that we're feeding, to be accustomed to people. And when they're in peak optimum health, we'll go ahead and select those for photography and post them up for sale in the Divers Den store. If you walk a little bit further this way, once the marine fish are run into this building in the system here, and we start that conditioning process, they'll in turn get moved into this main fish system right here. This is again independent from the other system, and what we do is we continually condition the fish in the system as well, and then once they're ready for sale, we'll offer specific specimens, we'll tee them up for photography, and then offer them for sale in the Divers Den WYSIWYG store. So we've got a lot of versatility in here. We've got some 4-foot tanks, some 2-foot aquariums, segregated cubicles, as well as some fish boxes out this here. And this is, it provides us the ability to keep some very small fishes in here as well.
we got some pretty big bio loads in these systems here. So, you know, the filtration equipment is very similar to what folks would use at your home, but it's just a little bit larger. So we like to use protein skimmers. We've got a very large ultraviolet sterilizer on this system. We've got what's called a fluidized sand bed. You know, we need to develop some nitrifying bacteria, provide a substrate for that bacteria to actually, you know, start to grow on, and that's where fluidized sand beds come into place. It provides a lot of surface area, and we can break down a lot of waste of fishes. The last component that we have on here is ozone. We use ozone generators. Ozone is 3 atoms of oxygen that's basically smashed together. It's highly unstable. However, it's a great oxidizer, so it helps to actually increase oxygen, kill some bacteria and parasites, and convert ammonia directly into nitrates in a marine aquarium. So it's a really, really great piece of equipment on a commercial scale for us to use.
I'll have keeps the water clear.
Keeps the water crystal clear. You know, a lot of folks use ozone on their SPS aquariums just to keep that water clarity perfect so the light can penetrate much deeper into the display. We like using it on fish systems primarily. Again, for bacteria control, increased oxygenation, and hopefully some parasitic control as well. So this system's here, these systems right here, they actually hold our aquaculture fish. So we're a really hardcore staunch supporter of Rising Tide and of companies like Biota. You can see we keep these fish separate from the wild harvested fishes. And what we want to do here is, like I said, support as many captive bred initiatives as we can. Biota's one, ORA, Ocean Breeds Aquariums, is another great producer of aquaculture and aquatic life. And so is LiveAquaria in Indonesia. So we have a huge diversity of polyaqua-rich fishes. Primarily centropyge angelfish, other types of angels, and some of their clownfish that they produce as well. So,
what are some of the newest species that you've gotten from them?
So the newest is Centropyge flamissima, which is the lemon peel angelfish. We've also got some personifer angelfish, some white bar max, maculosus angelfish, yellow bar maculosus angelfish, asper angelfish, and of course the clarine angel is a very popular fish that LiveAquaria does, and even their goldflake angels. So we're really looking forward to a couple new species that should be coming down the pike here. So we use a lot of salt water in this facility. Basically, we use a pallet of salt every 4 days. So we used to use a commercially available salt mix, but 2 years ago we switched over to something that's more appropriate for our needs in this building here. So we really wanted a salt that has a little bit lower alkalinity, in the 8 to 9 pKh range, as well as you know, it easily mixes up, crystal clear. So what you see here is 3 bulk storage tanks. The first one's a 2,000 gallon RODI tank, and the next 2 are each 2,000 gallons each of pre-mixed salt water for the LiveAquaria professional reef salt. So if you haven't tried that salt, I'm pretty confident you're going to be really satisfied with how it mixes up and how stable it is for your reef aquarium. We've got a few more systems out here as well. We medicate all the carpet anemones, all the white tentacle anemones for bacterial infections before we place them in individual systems or independent systems out here. So you can see a lot of LTs. We got some Ritterites as well, a lot of carpet anemones also. And I think what a lot of folks don't understand is that, you know, many of these anemones before export, they're really not illuminated very heavily, and that's where we have challenges in here because we're bringing these guys in, we're exposing them to super intense high light, and it's really not the way to adapt these guys back to the conditions and the environment that they need. So we actually have fluorescent lighting on these displays here. They're T5 lights, and what happens is we're actually healing these guys back up and adapting them back up to higher light. So we're doing all the heavy lifting so they succeed in your aquariums. So now you've seen kind of the behind the scenes nuts and bolts of the LiveAquaria Coral Farm and Aquatic Life Facility. So let me now take you into my office aquariums. So I've got some really cool fish, and I think you'll dig. The main hallway where all the offices are.
Ooh, hallway. What kind of lighting's in here?
Kind of video, photo studio right here.
So these are my 2 office displays. These tanks are Red Sea Peninsula aquariums, and they're butted up back to back, and they're separate aquariums. So they each have a separate sump. I can control the water chemistry differently in each of these displays. What you see in here is just dominated of softies. You know, we all start with softies and then we progress into, you know, kind of more trendy corals like LPS or SPS, but, you know, I'm always coming back to a beautiful soft coral display because there's a lot of movement, a lot of color, a lot of diversity, and, you know, a pretty simple, easy system to maintain and support. In this display, I've got a pair of interrupta angelfish from Japan, male and female. I've also got the half-banded flasher wrasse, the Paracalynis hemataneatus from Madagascar. And then there's actually a mag foxface in here as well to help control some macroalgae. I've got water flow devices here. These are AI Nero pumps. Really like these guys. They're super compact. App controlled, so it's really easy to control these guys and, you know, change the settings, whether you want to, you know, do pulse mode or do you know, rapid circulation mode. I've also utilized AI 26 lighting system here as well. Really love AI and Ecotech lights. AI lights especially are really easy to control with your smartphone, so it really makes it when you want to adjust something or you want to adjust the spectrum duration or intensity, it's super simple with their app on your smartphone device. So let me show you under the hood here. We've got, you know, the Red Sea Reefer sump. You can see we've got the top off, which comes standard with this sump. I used some ceramic bio blocks for stability and to initially cycle this aquarium. It's about 5 months old now. Really like the quantum protein skimmer. It's a really quality skimmer from Nios. Very great product in my personal opinion. So the right aquarium. This is a very special tank for me because we had the ability to actually procure some really unique fishes out of the Cook Islands. So what I did was I plumbed a chiller in. The coral farm is actually behind us here. So this aquarium is running right now at about 73.5 degrees. And it houses not only this beautiful Nursulum wrasse here, but it houses a group of Ventralis anthias from the Cook Islands. And most importantly, it houses an incredibly special little fish that, you know, a lot of us have always dreamed about seeing. This is the peppermint angelfish, so the elusive peppermint.
It's elusive on video right now.
which is so cool. You know, it's a very expensive fish. This is a $25,000 fish. Comes from very deep water in the Cook Islands. I believe it's the only one in the United States right now. And, you know, I've spent a lot of time with this guy over the last 3 weeks, conditioning the specimen up to, you know, be able to offer them for sale in the Divers Den store on LiveAquaria. So, you know, I've been in here every day on the weekends and, you know, feeding multiple feeds and, you know, a variety of different foods to condition this guy up. And I'm happy to say that he's eating very, very robustly now. And he's taking a variety of foods. You can see him there on the right. Still pretty cryptic fish, but he pretty much owns the whole bottom rockscape in this display. So, you know, hopefully you guys will be able to see him soon on the Divers Den store of LiveAquaria. Hey, I hope you guys enjoy this video. I want to thank Jake and Reef Builders for coming out to Rhinelander to visit our facility and hop on the Divers Den LiveAquaria WYSIWYG store, so you can see some of the beautiful animals that we have to offer, and also follow Reef Builders and LiveAquaria on social media channels.